Hi, good morning. You're welcome to yet another edition of your program, My Opinion on Clevenard TV. My name is Frankali Demudiana. Always, as usual, I like to remind you to keep signing up on www.clevenard.com. All right, Clevenard TV In Diaspora is an online TV service, okay, created to bring Africans back home and in diaspora to create, okay, a platform together to celebrate and appreciate their achievements. Therefore, it is important that you keep signing up now. Thank you so much. All right, my guest today is Dr. Pedus C Eweama. Dr. Pedus Eweama is a doctor and also the chairperson Nigeria Association of Western Australia, and they will be discussing Nijafest' 2020, Nijafest'22 in West Australia. Dr. Pedus, you're welcome to My Opinion.
Thanks for having me, Franco.
Yeah, good to have you on board. Now let's get to know you. Who is Dr. Pedus C Eweama?
Okay, that's a big question. Anyway, Pedus C Eweama, my full name is Pedus C Eweama. I happen to be a Nigerian by birth and an Australian by choice. I was born in Imo State, Nigeria. I left Nigeria shortly after my first year of medicine at the University of Benin, and went through the US, did my studies, and came to Australia about 16, 17 years ago.
That's quite a long time. So how has it been? How has life been in Australia? You are a medical doctor and by profession, right? So how has it been studying medicine in Australia as a Nigerian?
Look, I was one of those victims of Abacha administration, for those who would remember. The terror that Nigerian students faced, the problem with Nigerian association, basically all associations that were against the military junta of Abacha, including NANS. Look, you can't compare Nigeria with obviously the Western countries, including Australia, where there are opportunities, where education is appreciated, and people are given the opportunity to grow through academic achievement. There are scholarships, the environment very enabling, and for those who are really committed, you can make a life and make a living through your education achievement.
All right, some people think it's quite difficult to be able to should I say live comfortably in a different environment. I'm talking of social inclusion now. So what is your take on that? Living in Nigeria setting in Australia and relating to social inclusion.
Yeah, look, I remember years ago, like I said, about 16 years ago, before I moved over to Australia, I met somebody who happens to be a neighbor to Australia, who told me that, look, if you're going to Australia, you need to be very, very careful because Australia is very racist. This guy's from Malaysia. That Australia is very racist. I should be very careful. I should rather stay in America than come into Australia. But I took the risk because there was an opening for me. There was an opportunity for me. And I felt if coming to Australia, if I struggle with coping and finding it difficult to live in this country, I would then go back to the States. But it turned out not to be quite true. We have our conceptions and our preconceived ideas about how countries should operate or what is obtainable in countries. Even in our country, Nigeria, you may struggle to convince somebody in the north to vote for you, especially in these times we're in, as an Igbo man or as a Yoruba man or as a Edo man, because of our protectionism, I call it, of our ethnic identities. So here in Australia, I think the laws are clear. There are anti-discrimination laws. There is strong push for inclusiveness of everybody, no matter where you come from. And interestingly, 1 in 4, about 25% of Australians have their one or two of the parents born overseas. So there is that push for multiculturalism in Australia. So there are struggles, there are challenges, but there are a lot of opportunities.
All right, so let's look at the challenges faced by Nigerians in Australia. Can you just enumerate them? Let's talk about it.
Look, I would say one of the first challenge for a Nigerian coming over, especially if you're coming over from Nigeria. For me, I didn't have a lot of these challenges because I came over from a Western country. If you had to come over fresh from Nigeria, there would be some degree of shock, culture shock when you arrive here. You will first of all struggle to hear what Australians are saying, the Australian accent. Obviously, you need to understand what somebody's telling you before you can actually make out what to respond, or how to function within the confines of the society. So that's always the first shock. And then the workplace, if you do find a job, or the institutions of higher learning, if you're studying or you migrated as a skilled migrant and as a worker, you struggle that the work ethics here in Australia is quite different. People work hard, but they also play hard. Nigerians, we don't like taking vacation. We work and work and work. And oftentimes Nigerians, we want to do all the overtimes because they want the money. You realize that this is a total departure from Australia, where Australians, like obviously most people from the Western countries of the world, they take vacation quite often. So they work and they play. We often want to work and work and work. So for Nigerians, I think that's a challenge. Also, there is also a challenge of this perception that people may not like you because of your color. It's not necessarily true. Some people find it difficult to adjust to this new social milieu. But for me, coming over here, I was sponsored to work. I didn't come here as a student, so I was actually sponsored by an employer. I knew what I needed to do at work, and did what I was expected to do within my capabilities. And I didn't find myself discriminated against, because there were a lot of people like me. There are a lot of brown people. There are a lot of black people, people obviously Orientals and Asians. There are quite a few people that will look at you and look at you as some sort of you limiting their own opportunities, especially those who are also migrant from different other African countries. But they come to realize that it's not actually true, because this country is a country of opportunities. And I'm working as a doctor. There are a lot of the need is enormous for doctors and nurses and health professionals. So you realize that nobody's taking anybody's spot, and you can make a living, if you're committed and you're obviously willing to, use your own skills, your abilities to advance your own, interests and your professional aspiration. So, and also for Nigerians, getting hold of our food, the food that we eat, we enjoy back home, can be a challenge. Lately, there have been a number of Nigerians importing our food. I remember when I came, it was a struggle, but things have changed now. So we have people bringing in our food. We have few restaurants by Africans, by Nigerians. So that's not much of a problem right now. And also, obviously, the distance between here and home. People struggle to reconnect with people at home. Now, with technology, you can call a family, you can call a friend so cheaply compared to 16 years ago. So that bridge, because of new and emerging technology, things have become a lot easier, a lot better. With Skype, like we're talking, with WhatsApp and other social media, you can keep in touch with family. And as you know, from here to Nigeria, it's quite a distance. Right now, taking a family of 5, 6 to Nigeria would cost you about $20,000 because of the post-COVID increase in fares and what is happening in Russia and Ukraine, and the cost of aviation fuel and all these other challenges. So look, there are a number of challenges for Nigerians, but slowly and steadily, we try and overcome them.
Yes, right. I would say you were quite lucky because of your foundation and all that. But for an average Nigerian that wants to migrate to Australia as it stands now, do you think there are solutions to the challenges you just mentioned?
Yeah, definitely. And this is where NAWA as an organization comes in. NAWA is the Nigerian Association of Western Australia. We actually have a similar organization across Australian states and territories. representing the interests and welfare of Nigerians. If anybody wants to migrate to Australia, I'll give you an instance. About 2 months ago, I got a call from somebody, actually from Edo State, saying that he was moving over here. Somebody gave him my number, and I had a chat with him and his family, and basically guided him on what he needed to do, where he needed to stay. And I kept in touch, and he's quite settled now. He's got a job. The wife is in school. The kids are settled. So that's where we come in as NAWA. We play this role of helping to mitigate some of the risk of traveling and some of the challenges people face moving from, a known land to a very unknown place. So we are here to support individuals who are migrating from Nigeria or any part of Africa to Australia, particularly to Western Australia. And also for other parts of Australia through CONAPA, which is the Council of Nigeria Association Presidents in Australia. We can liaise with our colleagues across various states and territories of Australia to ensure those individuals get the support they need to settle down in Australia.
Right. You are the chairman of NAWA, right? The current chairman of NAWA?
Correct.
Can you just let's hear with your experience, the challenges you've had so far in the in holding the position?
Look, NAWA, was formed in 2007, formally inaugurated in 2007. It had been existing as an informal organization where there were not many Nigerians in the late 80s and early 90s. There were quite few of them. Most of them were studying, and few of them were skilled migrants. So they came together informally for barbecue, to play sports, to get the kids to know each other. Over time, when people like us came to Australia about 16 years ago, they decided that it was time we had a formally inaugurated organization to cater for the interests of Nigerians, and that gave birth to Nigerian Association of Western Australia. Over this 15-year period, we have tried as much as possible to support Nigerians who are here, new migrants, students, families coming from various parts of the world to Australia. We have yearly events. We have Children's Day events. We have Youth Summits every year. We have couples dinner every year. We have our yearly barbecue. Obviously, we have our Nigeria Day celebration every October. And for the first time, we're having what we call Nijafest', the Nigerian Food and Cultural Festival. So these are opportunities to bring Nigerians together, to network, and also share opportunities that may be available to Nigerians who may not know, and to provide that platform for support for those who may need, whether it's emotional support or support in also advancing their own professional interests here in Australia.
All right, let's get down to cultural understanding now. You are the chairman of NAWA. All right, now, how well and how far has your organization or association been able to bridge the gap, the cultural gap between Western Australia and the Nigerians in Australia?
Yeah, I mean, we have obviously continued to try our best within the limits of the resources we have. I always said to Australians, to Western Australians, that each time we have events, we're basically helping them by transporting Nigeria to Western Australia instead of them spending money to travel to Nigeria. Our events are usually open to the public. Like I said, Western Australia is very multicultural, just like Australia. So we've made it possible for Western Australians to come and learn the way we live, the food we eat, our cultural attires, like our dressing, our fashion, the things that we do and the way we do things. And these events that we hold annually that I've outlined are usually opportunities for Western Australians to come on board as spectators or as participants. We've actually had Western Australians who are willing to volunteer in our organizations to learn more about us. There are some of them that are now married to Nigerians or engaged to be married to Nigerians. So most of these people come on board and they want to know about us and they want to know about our culture, particularly those who have not had the opportunity of going to Nigeria. So we bring Nigeria to them and make it easier for them to experience firsthand the way we live and the way we do things.
All right, thank you so much, Dr. Pedus. We'll take a short break here, and when we return, we'll talk more on Nijafest 2022.
Thank you.
Clevenard In Diaspora Television is an internet online TV service. What sets us apart is a unique combination of hit African content, first and exclusive international free movies, series, musics, news, events, documentaries, tourism, teleshopping shows, youth TV programs, and live interviews. Clevenard Diaspora Television is available throughout sub-Saharan Africa and to the diaspora markets worldwide. Take your entertainment with you wherever you go. Watch on your smartphone, tablet, laptop, smart TV, depending on your device. Watch free movies with Clevenard Movies Television. Stop searching for free movies websites and watch Clevenard Movies Television. Watch your favorite African shows anywhere at any time. Don't forget to check out our top 5 TV channels created to get you informed. TV1, Clevenard In Diaspora Television. TV2, Clevenard Youth Television. TV3, Clevenard Movies Television. TV4, Clevenard Teleshopping Television. TV5, Clevenard Tourism Television. To start watching, sign up at www.clevenard.com and follow the easy steps. Once you're done, log into the Clevenard website or app on your device, click on any one of our 5 TV channels, and hit play. We will be very satisfied and happy to welcome you to our team as one of our new business partners. Contact info@clevenard.com +34 631 279811. Website www.clevenard.com.
Welcome back. We are still with Dr. Pedus and his team and opinion on Clevenard TV. All right, when we went on a short break, we were talking about the differences in culture between Western Australia and then Nigeria or Africa. Okay, so I'll still have to continue that discussion from there. And Dr. I want to ask that you let us know the difference between African culture, okay, and the West Australian culture.
Yeah, that's a very interesting question, Franca. Coming from Africa, traveling to the Western countries can be a shock to a lot of Africans. And Australia is not different. I think Australia shares a lot of similarities with other countries of the West, North America and Europe. In Africa, we have this deep sense of community, this idea that we are all interconnected in one way or another. We believe in this extended family system, and we support each other within the confines of those belief systems. In Australia, in contrast, Australia, like most countries of the West, people believe in living quite isolated life, quite a life that some Africans will find very difficult to imagine, quite confronting. They isolate themselves. They believe in that, this singularity of their family unit. It's a nuclear family. It's not extended family. That is in contrast. It strikes a very broad contrast between that sort of living and Nigerian or African way of life. So that is a difference in our culture. We, as Africans, oftentimes do not need to seek advice from our brothers or sisters or even friends for them to offer those advice. In Australia, if you give somebody advice without their request, they might find it quite offensive. And this is, typically true for most countries of the West. So we sort of live a quite informal, but for an Australian, it could be considered quite intrusive lifestyle back home, where everybody knows everybody's business because you want to know what's going on with your brother or sister. And that's why we have very low levels of depression and mental illness back home. Not to say that we do not have mental illness. There's no doubt we have mental illness. But here in the West, because people live quite isolated life, it can be psychologically challenging for them, having nobody to talk to, dealing with your own struggles yourself without having the conviction to share those struggles with your neighbor, with your friends, and even with your family. I know of people who have not been in touch with their brothers for the last 10 years, 15 years. They tell you they don't know where this individual lives, and they're actually siblings. They don't know where their parents live, and that's their parents. So it's totally different in that sense. And also, the food we eat, obviously you can't talk about culture without the food. Here in the West, the food they eat, I would say, is quite limited. We have vast array of food for us coming from Africa, even though one of the challenges is getting our food here because of the strict quarantine system here in Australia. But the food is very different. Back home, we tend to eat a lot of quite organic food, less fat, less sugar, apart from our fufu that we eat. We eat a lot of organic food from the farms and, less chemicals. But here, because of mass production, having to, put interest oftentimes ahead of the health and well-being of individuals, it can be challenging, in that sense. But besides that, obviously the relationship between societies, I would say in Nigeria, because we historically have had challenges with, corruption and corrupt leadership. The culture here is that of transparency, that of accountability, that of the government on a brighter and positive side, doing the best they can for their people, as opposed to what happens back in our country. So that's one part of their culture I appreciate and admire, and that's why most of us are actually in this country because of the economic opportunities.
There is a maxim that says that cultural differences can lead to societal conflicts. Have you experienced anything of this nature?
We have not had much of conflict in that sense. And if there are conflicts, it will be internal struggles and individual struggles for people that have not been expressed publicly, or that we as an organization are aware of. Or as an individual, personally, I would say I have had my challenges, but I wouldn't call them conflict as such. Coming to a new country to work, knowing that you are in another man's country, you have to obey the rules, especially when I just arrived. I wasn't a citizen. Now I'm an Australian citizen. Then I wasn't. So you have to toe the path that has been created, the path of those opportunities that are there, the laws that are there. You have to obey the laws and the legal system. If you do the right thing as expected by the society, you wouldn't be having much conflict. But in terms of the culture, yeah, that would be shock for those who have not experienced Western culture. I didn't experience that much because my situation and circumstance was different at the time. But I wouldn't say there was any conflict as such. Trying to reconcile my culture, Nigerian culture, and the culture of the newfound country that I came to, advance my career.
Yeah, in the course of answering the last question I just asked, you actually made mention of some things in the next question I'm going to ask you, which is the role of cultural understanding in creating a healthy society.
Yeah, I think, one thing I would say about the West, about Australia, is that, they have rules, they have laws, and those laws are, expected to be obeyed. And as you know, nobody's above the law, whether you're the prime minister or you're the cleaner. There was an incident a few years ago where the Speaker of the House of Representatives actually, resigned her position because she accepted a bottle of wine without disclosing it. So this is how this country operates. There is that sense of responsibility. They expect you to behave, especially as a public servant, within an ethical framework. to ensure that you obviously obey the laws, the rules and regulations that are set down. If you do the right thing, you won't have much to worry about. If you obey the laws, for instance, the traffic rules, in Nigeria, we drive very erratically without having concern for other road users. Here, if you misbehave on the road and you go above the speed limit or you have other traffic infringements, you will receive appropriate fines. The biggest slogan that you see on the notice that they send to your house is you choose your speed and you choose your fine. So if you choose to drive fast, you also will choose to pay more. So the laws are there, for people to respect. And I think this is where Africa is totally different. There are two laws for people in our continent. There are laws for the rich and the connected and the politicians, and there are laws for ordinary people. So if you're a member of parliament, you don't have to do certain things. You don't have to obey certain rules. Like at the airport, you have police officers waiting for you. They will escort you through the queue. You don't have to line up. Here, if you go to the banks, if you go to public places, you're expected to queue up. It doesn't matter who you are. It doesn't matter your rank. It doesn't matter your position. You just have to obey the rules, and the standards are here. If you come in newly, nobody will tell you that the rules are here. You have to obey the rules. In Nigeria, we throw things through the window in our cars. We throw rubbish and litter everywhere. Here, you cannot do that because nobody else is doing it. You'll be forced to toe the path that other people before you have taught. So, the rules are here to be obeyed, and you obey the rule, you have no problem. If you do not obey the rule, there are consequences for your actions, and it doesn't matter who you are.
So will you recommend such rules for Nigeria?
Strongly, strongly, strongly advocate for a Nigeria of equal opportunities, a Nigeria where we elect competent leaders, people who are credible, people who are capable, who have capacity to make a difference, irrespective of tribe, irrespective of religion or political affiliation. And if we get our leadership right and desensitize our current way of thinking, the way that we reason, the way we think things should be done, I think we'll slowly and steadily start to make a difference in Nigeria. If we can bring the systems that operate in the West to Nigeria, I can tell you we'll make enormous progress. And it surprises me that most of our leaders travel to the West, to these Western countries. They know that things are done properly, things are done rightly. But interestingly, they go back to Nigeria and they remove that garment that they've worn in the West and they put on their Nigerian garment and continue status quo. That is sad, but it's something that we should, as diasporans, we should, as Nigerians living in Nigeria, continue to advocate that we need a change, we need we need a country of equal opportunity, a country where things will start working. And 2023 is an opportunity for people to make that statement and elect individuals that can help us put Nigeria on the path of progress and prosperity.
I wish you could have taken more of that, but let us come back to the topic of discourse. You are obviously the chairman of Nigeria Association of Western Australia. What are the motives, the visions, and the objectives for the association?
Yeah, since I took over this organization in 2019, when I assumed the position of the chairperson, NAWA, wasn't in a very strong position. We had problems in 2017. Luckily, we were able to elect one of our brothers, Dr. Shala Oyookpo, who took over the organization in 2017 and did the best to position the organization on the path of success. And when I took over in 2019, I continued in his vision. And our vision is no division, to bring Nigerians together, irrespective of our cultural differences, whether you're Igbo, Yoruba, Hausa, Efik, Ibibio, Urobo, Edo, wherever you come from in Nigeria. We want a united Nigeria where, in spite of our differences, in spite of our affiliations and our own sensitivities as Nigerians, we should come together and try to advance our collective interests as Nigerians and represent our interests before the government and before other people who are not Nigerians, other Africans. through, for instance, the Organization of African Communities in Western Australia, where I also represent the interests of Nigerians through the Leadership Forum. So we have this vision as well of eventually having a Nigerian house in Western Australia. When we have our events, we often pay Italians and Yugoslavians, people from other countries who already have their function centers, to lease their function centers for our own events. I'm thinking as we grow, as our children continue to grow and succeed in this country, we need our own space, we need our own function center. And that's one of the vision we have. And we've started to raise money through our various activities. That this is in our strategic plan, that the future is bright for Nigerians here and we can have our own space. Obviously, we have to be united to advance that interest. We also have tried as much as possible to work with our brothers and sisters across the continent, like I did mention, through the Organization of African Communities in Western Australia. We are well represented in that organization, and we network with them and learn from each other and try to protect and promote the interests of Africans, and obviously Nigeria being a significant or a major player within the African continent. So we have this vision: unite the country, unite the people, plan ahead, have a vision of having our own function center, develop programs that benefit young people, that benefit the youth, that benefit our, the couples, and that benefit the generality of Nigerians who live here in Western Australia, including supporting our brothers and sisters who may be migrating or coming here to study.
That's right. So are there any criteria? Does someone need to have any criteria to be a member of NAWA?
No, the only requirement is that you have to be a Nigerian. We have, two membership categories. If you're a Nigerian, born by a Nigerian, or born in Nigeria, you are automatically a member of NAWA, even though you may not be a financial member. You become a financial member when you subscribe and you pay a small amount, $100 a year for families, $25 for students, and $40 a year for singles. You can also be an affiliate or become a member if you're not a Nigerian, an associate of NAWA. And if you decide, or anyone decides to be part of us, they can register and become part of NAWA, even though they're not Nigerians by birth. So as a Nigerian, you have no reason not to be a member of NAWA, because it's for us by us.
That's all right. Thank you, Dr. Pedus. We'll take another short break here and we'll return shortly.
Thanks.
Hello there. Looking for an African movie? Search no further. Clevenard African Movies TV is here for you. We are dedicated to the acceleration of African films, TV series, documentaries, and lots more. Explore our movies at home or on the go. Clevenard Movies is free to watch on Clevenard.com. Don't miss this opportunity. Hurry now. Sign up and subscribe today. Hello there.
All right, welcome back. Yeah. Doctor, I want you to explain to us between the Nigerians, okay, in Western Australia and the embassy. Is there a cordial relationship?
Yeah, thanks, Franca. Look, we have tried as much as possible to maintain a cordial relationship between Nigerians here in Australia, particularly those in Western Australia where I lead, and the Nigerian High Commission in Canberra. Canberra is in Australian Capital Territory. Look, the relationship has not always been as good as it should, obviously, because oftentimes you have differences in personalities, you have expectations. We as Nigerians who have lived there for so long, we actually expect some degree of efficiency, some degree of accountability and responsiveness from the side of the embassy. Those of them who have not traveled quite extensively often come, the staff often come with this idea that Nigerians who are in the diaspora, Nigerians who are here, should dance to their tunes. And we often find ourselves at loggerheads, trying to make them realize that we are not actually a tentacle of the Nigerian High Commission. We are an organization focused on the welfare of Nigerians, and we expect them to do the right thing, obviously being on Australian soil and not doing things the way things are being done in Nigeria. But I can tell you the new Ambassador Anderson Madubike, who just arrived about 1.5 years ago, has promised that he's going to make a difference to change the way things are done. The ambassador who was here before him, Ambassador Bello, tried his best. I think it's a work in progress. We have our expectations as diaspora Nigerians. We know how things are done here in the workplaces, here in the wider Australian society, in terms of accountability, in terms of efficiency, in terms of providing for the welfare of Nigerians, welfare of members of the Australian society. And we expect our embassy or our High Commission to act very similarly. Oftentimes they don't, and we often hold them to account. And this is where we have issues of, the differences emerge because our views and opinions may be diametrically opposed to their own views. And I think that's where we sometimes clash. But we are committed to working together, working to ensure that the welfare of Nigerians here in Australia comes first before any other considerations.
All right, so does this difference has effect on new migrants?
Sorry, pardon.
Does this difference, the differences you have with the embassy, does it have effect or negative effects, okay, on should I say, let me use the word migrant now, on new migrants, people that want to migrate to Australia?
No, it shouldn't really. Nigerian High Commission here in Australia, plays very minimal role, if at all they play any role, in terms of Nigerians wanting to migrate to Australia. They provide consular services for Nigerians who may have issues here in Australia, or those who needing passports, or Nigerians who may be Australian citizens but wanting to travel with a visa. But look, Nigerians who want to travel to Australia as migrants should not consider, any minor issues. I would say it's not really significant that we've had between ourselves and Nigerians here in Australia and the High Commission. In terms of making their decisions to come here. People make decisions to migrate because they're seeking greener pastures, seeking better opportunities out there, or coming to study. And I think the relationship between us and the High Commission should not deter any individual from wanting to make their lives better in Australia.
All right, now let's talk about the Council of Nigerian Association of Presidents in Australia.
Yeah, thanks, Franca. Look, in late 2019, I had just been elected the chairperson of NAWA, and I had this conversation with our outgoing ambassador, Ambassador Bello, who encouraged me to consider bringing Nigerians in Australia, the leaders, Nigerian leaders across various states and territories together under a council, under an umbrella. When COVID hit in 2020, I thought it was a good opportunity for me to navigate through this, what I perceived was going to be a very difficult terrain. Most of these individuals, because Australia is quite, it's quite isolating living in Australia. I don't know if you've heard that Perth in Western Australia, where we live, is the most isolated city in the world. So to put things in perspective, flying from one part of Australia here in Western Australia to places like Sydney, another part of Australia, will take you about 5 hours. The same applies to Melbourne and South Australia, between 4 and 5 hours. So we sort of very isolated from each other. So in 2020, when COVID hit, the first wave of COVID, I found time to, through the embassy, to get the contact of all the leaders across various states and territories, that there was need for us to come together under one umbrella. And interestingly, people jumped at that opportunity, and many people told me they have been thinking of this idea, but they've not actually put it in practice. And they thanked me for bringing this idea to the fore. And that was how CONAPA came to existence. It's an incorporated organization, the Council of Nigerian Association Presidents in Australia, that comprises of all the presidents and the vice presidents of all Nigerian national associations across various states and territories. It's actually the peak national leadership forum for all Nigerians in Australia, and we are recognized by the Nigerian in Diaspora Commission under the leadership of Honorable Dr. Abike Dabiri Erewa, who has joined us in our past meetings and very supportive and encouraging of what we're doing here in Australia.
Now let's get to hear about some success stories of these organizations.
Yeah, one of the things we've succeeded in doing, Franca, is to actually hold the High Commission to account. Like I said to you earlier, we've operated independently from the High Commission, and to ensure that the High Commission or staff members of the High Commission do what they should be doing for Nigerians here in Australia, because we believe that if there are no Nigerians here, government of Nigeria will have no business sending anybody to Australia under any circumstance, because they're here for us and they should be here for us. So we've cooperated with them on a number of fronts. We've had our differences, and we've made our voices clear and known to the High Commission. For instance, with the passport exercise, I don't know if you're aware that because of the distance between various states, in Australia and various territories of Australia, distance between those states and territories to Canberra, where we have the Nigerian High Commission, is so far that many Nigerians who may not have the economic wherewithal to go there and get their passports, they struggle. And that's where CONAPA and the national organizations come in, trying to liaise with the High Commission to ensure they travel from state to state to provide these services to individuals. We've had the issue of some associated costs, where the High Commission has essentially tried to charge a certain amount of money, and we have stood our ground and said, look, we're happy that for people to pay some money, but we're not going to agree to pay a ridiculous amount of money for the High Commission to come and provide a service that should ideally be free for Nigerians because of the distance they face going to Canberra. We've also, in this era of obviously political campaigns and trying to ensure good governance and enshrine good leadership in Nigeria in 2023, we've actually most recently invited the three major presidential contenders, Asiwaju Bola Ahmed Tinubu, Pedus B, and the PDP presidential aspirant Atiku Abubakar. So we've invited them to come to Australia. We're hoping to hear from them. Want to create a space and a platform for Nigerians to ask them questions. Even though we, at this point in time, do not have voting rights as diasporans, which is very sad, we're still pushing, and we're working with other diasporans, working with Nigerian Diaspora Commission and the committee, Diaspora Committee within the House of Representatives, to make sure that our voices are not suppressed. So CONAPA is actively involved in that, and about a year and a half ago, I participated in a session with the House of Representatives, and I actually spoke on behalf of CONAPA and expressed our own position with regards to diaspora voting. That was before the voting that did not favor us. We're still pushing, we're still hopeful that with time, diasporans will be allowed to vote and express their rights as full Nigerian citizens. If Nigerians are happy with our remittances, which at this very point in time almost equals the revenue that we generate from crude oil, 21 $122 billion. If they're happy to accept these remittances from the diaspora, which Nigerians in Australia is part of, I think Nigerians at home should support Nigerians in diaspora to advance our aspiration of wanting to be given the opportunity to express our rights as full Nigerian citizens to vote, during elections. So those are some of the areas that CONAPA has been active in, and we're still working hard. Remember, we're a relatively new organization, formed in actually incorporated formally in 2021. So this is actually our first year of operation. So we are, actively working hard to make sure that we, represent the interests of Australians before, the bigger diaspora community across the world and before the Nigerian government.
Mr. Thank you so much. We'll take our last break here, and we'll come back. We'll discuss Nijafest 2022.
In the 21st century's technological advancement, we all seek opportunities to move and network with the emerging space. Introducing Clevenard blog and event posting. Do you think you have some interesting materials, good content, articles, and stories? Then feel free to publish them on Clevenard blog and events page, just as team of our writers are doing presently. By blogging on Clevenard's blogs and events, you benefit from our reach and network. There are a constant stream of people visiting our social platform, and we have figured out just how to distribute our contents. This means you can basically skip the line and get access to a big audience from day one. Furthermore, we can help you get in touch with important people for projects with possibilities of translating your content into other languages and republishing them on Clevenard. This helps preserve and protect your content from getting lost. What's more, you also get to be part of our team with access to our network and lots of exclusives, behind-the-scenes information. And of course, you get full credit for everything you do, which brings you popularity and make extra income. Sign up now on Clevenard.com and start blogging to your advantage. Please see the tutorial video on how to blog or post events on Clevenard blogs and events. For more information, contact info@clevenard.com +34 631 279811. Website www.clevenard.com. Clevenard, your blogs, your identity.
All right, welcome back, and it's still my opinion on Clevenard TV. I'm still with Dr. Pedus C Eweama. Again, Dr. Pedus is the chairperson Nigeria Association of Western Australia. All right, let's go over to the cultural, the Nigerian Food and Cultural Festival and Nijafest 2022 proper. What is it all about?
Thanks, Frank. Look, when I took over the leadership of Nigerian Association of Western Australia in 2019, I had a number of, vision, and I had a number of ideas that I wanted to put into practice. One of the things I realized with some of our leaders back home is lacking vision. And I felt like as a leader that I should actually have a vision that my colleagues within the executive committee should tap into and support. So that gave birth to the idea of having a festival, not just an indoor celebration, an outdoor celebration where we bring our people together, a free event where our culture will be projected in our commitment to make sure that our culture is not lost wherever we are, including in the diaspora. So that idea became very popular within my executive committee, and they shared in the vision and felt like it's something that they would support. We shared it with the community, the wider community, asking people to express interest in terms of participation. And the interest was such that, we're amazed at the number of people who are wanting to become vendors, to cook, to share their culinary skills out there at the event. Whether you want mai mai or puff puff or akara or a wedu or jollof rice, whatever Nigerian food you want on that day, it will be on display. Many of our women are keen to come out there and cook and exhibit their skills. We have people who are good at, various sort of African dances and drama and displays. They are keen to come on board. We have made it possible for our children to have, entertainment for them, like face painting, bouncy castle rides. For our business owners to come out and exhibit whatever businesses they run. We have accountants who have business recruiters who recruit students from overseas to come and study here. We have those who have various businesses, shops. So they will come there with samples of whatever they do. We have those who design clothes. So every aspect of our culture is sort of covered at that event. And we're expecting Nigerians and Africans to come out en masse because it's free to participate and share in the food that we eat, the clothes and the dresses that we wear, and the business that we do, and to support what Nigerians are doing and trying to express the gifts and talents that we have in various areas. So that's basically, in essence, what this Nijafest, Nigerian Food and Cultural Festival, is all about: bringing Nigerians together to exhibit, the skills that we have, and to also invite Australians and other Africans to share and to understand the things that we do.
Is that also the Nigerian Day, or the Nigerian Day is another event entirely, or is it the same?
Yes, Nigerian Day proper is on the 8th. The Nigerian Nijafest is on the 7th, on a Friday, actually a week from today. And the Nigerian Day is actually the paid event, the ticketed event, where Nigerians, quite popular here, where Nigerians from all backgrounds come out en masse to celebrate also our culture, to celebrate the achievements of our people, to remind us of what it means to be a Nigerian beyond the challenges we have with leadership that Nigerians have aspired across the world and achieved. We'll come together and enjoy our food, enjoy our music, to network and to share our food and our vision with wider Western Australians and other Africans who live here in Western Australia.
Does the Australian government actually gives you this Friday as a holiday?
No, we actually, when we were planning Nijafest, we considered more of the kids being out of school. This is school holiday here. So because Friday is school holiday, we thought it would be a good opportunity when the kids are out of school to have this event out of school period. It's not actually a public holiday. But most of us who work, we have planned and organized ourselves, and we know from midday to 8 o'clock on Friday, we're going to come out there and support what Nawa is doing and support Nijafest.
Is it right? Thank you so much. But I know you've mentioned it, you've said one or two things about it, but I just need you to be clear about the dates, the time, and then the location.
Okay, so Nijafest is on the 7th of October, which is a week from today. And it's going to take place at a place called Mills Park. It's in Beckenham, one of the suburbs in Perth. And it's going to start at 12 noon up to 8 o'clock. It's going to be great. And we're expecting Nigerians and Africans and other Australians to be there to support us, to see how we live and the things we do. On the 8th of October, the next day, on a Saturday, we're going to have our Nigeria Day celebration proper at Vasto Function Center. Vasto Function Center is on Vasto Place, in a place suburb called Barkata. Nigerians here in Western Australia know the place. We've been using it for so long, and we are used to the vibe and the environment. So same place, Vasto Function Center on the 8th of October, where we meet, we celebrate, we share our differences and our dreams and aspirations, and we acknowledge both our challenges and the opportunities of being Nigerians and living overseas in the diaspora.
All right, you've spoken quite a lot, and you are also a medical doctor by profession. I'd like to give us a last word, okay, for the youth of Nigerians as we move towards 2023 general election.
Yeah, look, my message to young people, I remember when I was young, I was very active in politics. And in fact, it was because of some of the challenges I faced as a student union member at the University of Benin that I left Nigeria because of the risk faced during the Abacha regime. Look, my activism has sort of graduated into community leadership, trying to make a difference, trying to change things the way I think it should be, and obviously sharing the also the aspiration of the generality of the people that I lead. I think Nigerian youth should rise up in 2023. This is an opportunity, and this opportunity will not come again. This is one in a lifetime opportunity to make a difference and change the trajectory of Nigerian politics. There are three major contenders, and the young people of Nigeria have unequivocally made a statement that things must change. As you can see, the movement of P2B is rapidly increasing, and I'm very proud to say that I'm obedient. I'm a supporter of P2B because I think of all the major contenders, and this is my personal opinion, it doesn't represent the opinion of Nawa or Konapa. I think he's the most prepared, the most competent, and the most acceptable to Nigerian young people to change the trajectory and create opportunities for young people who may be languishing at home, unemployed, who may be thinking there is no future for them, and who may think that this is the last hope they have to make a life for themselves and their family, most of whom do not even have one because they can't afford to get married and settle down. So this is an opportunity to make a difference, and young people should consider carefully where they cast their vote. If we make a mistake in 2023, I think it will be a mistake that will be too costly for Nigeria.
Is that right? Thank you so much, Doctor. Thank you for being my guest on My Opinion this morning.
Thank you, Franca. Thanks for having me.
Is that right? Thank you. All right, viewers, we'll draw the curtain here for today. And I'd like to remind you to keep signing up on www.clevenard.com. All right, so next week we will come your way with another episode of this program. It's a bye from me.